I don't know lots of things in life for sure, 100% or 200%, but I know this one for sure, Audley. And this one is like this. When you got a problem in life, it can be a relationship problem, it can be a health problem, it can be a prosperity problem. You need to know two things in order to resolve that problem permanently. Meanings, there's no more problem. You're done, you're moving on. We don't even think about that problem any longer. What are those two things? Number one, you need to find out what's causing your problem, right? If you don't know what's causing your problem, how can you fix it? And it seems obvious when I say that, but in place in the context of healing with the pharmaceutical industry, that's not as obvious, right? And so that's number one. And number two, of course, you need to know how to fix it. So if you can find out what's the cause of the problem, you need to know how to fix it. No more problem, right? Make
Right.
sense?
Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by my man, Audley Stephenson, the Odd Man.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Audacious Living Podcast, where our goal is simple yet profound, and it's to help you live your best audacious life ever. It's always a pleasure to be here with you, sharing insights and inspiration that can empower you to break free from limitations and embrace the fullness of life. I truly appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule to join us and on this journey of growth and discovery. So let's go. Without further ado, let's do this. Maybe we should start off with a quick analogy, and I want you to imagine for a moment that your mind is a vast iceberg floating in the ocean. You know, above the water, you see only a small portion, the conscious mind, if you will, and that's representing the thoughts and your decisions that you're aware of. However, beneath the surface lies a massive foundation of ice, the subconscious mind, housing all of your beliefs, memories, and experiences. Just as the iceberg's strength lies in its submerged mass, your true potential is rooted in the depths of your subconscious. You know, in this episode, Dr. Alain Salas emphasizes the importance of identifying the root causes of our problems to enable effective healing. By delving deeper into our subconscious, we can uncover the limiting beliefs that shape our behaviors and outcomes, allowing us to reprogram our minds and enhance our health and well-being. We're really honored to have Dr. Salas join us here. He's a renowned psychologist and mental wellness expert specializing in the interplay between the conscious and subconscious mind, with a wealth of experience in helping individuals overcome limiting beliefs and reprogram their mental frameworks. He's dedicated his career to empowering people to achieve their fullest potential. He's also authored several books and is a sought-after speaker on the topics of mental health, self-improvement, and personal transformation. Dr. Salas's insights are incredibly relevant to our discussion today as we explore the subconscious influence on our daily lives and the things that influence our daily lives and health. His expertise in identifying root causes of psychological and emotional challenges aligns perfectly with our mission on the Audacious Living Podcast, which is to help listeners break through their barriers and transform their lives. So now that we got you all set, let's turn to our conversation with Dr. Salas. Enjoy. Hey, Elaine, thank you for joining me here on the Audacious Living Podcast. It's a pleasure to have you take the time to be here. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Audley. I cannot wait to get started, and let's see where that conversation is going to lead us, right?
Yeah, this is the best part. You never know where conversations go. You just enjoy it, and I always say hope for the best is always good stuff that's coming, right? So
Of course.
we absolutely will. Now, as a starting point, you specialize and focus in limiting beliefs and helping people clear those limiting beliefs. You're actually the doctor, is that correct? Or you're a doctor, Salas, I should say. And so
That's
maybe
correct.
as a yeah, so maybe as a starting point, if I can get you introduce yourself to our audience and let them know about the work that you do and what's got you to the point that you're at now.
Oh, that's a loaded question. Anyway, let's get started. So my name is Dr. Alain Salas, and you may notice a very tiny accent, right? I was born and raised in south of France. Yeah, tiny. And basically, like everything in oddly in life, we have been our lives lead us, to go to the different just you just follow journey, right? I mean, we are old enough, right, to understand that, and with the ups and downs and things like that. And so, basically, my journey started when I was in France, and I was like living on my sailing boat, right, and renting boat in south of France. So I did that for
Okay.
7 years, and I was living the life, right? I was working hard, and during the winter, I was like a sun chaser in a way, right? I didn't know what
Okay.
snow was like for almost a decade, right? And so I was, during the winter, I was buying South Hemisphere tickets and enjoying myself. But what happened one day, I saw myself helping people, right? But how I'm gonna do that, right? So I knew what was my mission in life, but how to do that, the how part was not given to me. So nobody in my family were involved with health or healing or whatever, right? So I started to ask my clients, and one of my clients, Audley, just told me, you know what? There's a Chinese doctor. He's coming to visit me, like for the weekend. Maybe you should talk to him.
Mhm.
And I said, sure, no problem. So I talked to the guy, and he said, why don't you finish the season? You read those 3 books, like some philosophical books. And after you come to see me and we'll talk. And sure enough, I did that. And so I went to Lyon, which is where my parents actually lived. And, get the treatment. I started to inquire about Chinese medicine. And he said, well, if you want to do what I do, which is, truly knowing what you're doing, you need to go to China, learn Chinese, blah, 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 to study the old text. And I was 30 years old, oddly. I said, I want to practice one day. And he said, okay, and I can see that. He looked at me and said, you look strong. Why not chiropractic? And I said, what's that? And so basically gave me all the information and contact of some French people who already went to American school to learn chiropractic. And I remember having that translated by my best friend that she's an English teacher, right? That's how that's how bad it was. And so what really was fascinating to me, it's like what they call the innate intelligence, your
Okay.
own ability to heal yourself. And that's really what hooked me up. And sure enough, the following year, I sold my business, my boat, and told my parents, you have to keep in mind, they used to call me the gypsy. I had long hair, earrings, partying all the time. I told my parents, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go to America. I want to become a doctor. So, that was epic. That was epic for sure. And so, anyway, when you've got what your mission in life has been given, there's
Yeah.
not even a doubt. There's not
Yeah.
even a
Yeah. Yeah.
hesitation. You see
Everyone
what I
else,
mean?
everyone else around you will wonder what the heck's going on, but you know clearly what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, they think you're crazy. They already knew I was kind of crazy, right? But at
This would have
that
confirmed it
stage,
then. This would have confirmed it then
yeah,
for sure.
they say, "Oh, that's the new one with Alan," right, and stuff like that. Anyway, so I did it, and sure enough, I graduated from chiropractic school, and I met that French woman in a bar, that became my wife, and we had a daughter. Her name is Maya, right? So everything was okay. But I was kind of frustrated in a way because I will treat people and people will get better and after they will plateau rather quickly, right?
Okay.
And what happened, it's like to maintain their gain on health, right? They still have to come to see me. So I don't know lots of things in life for sure, 100% or 200%, but I know this one for sure, Audley. And this one is like this. When you got a problem in life, it can be a relationship problem, it can be a health problem, it can be a prosperity problem. You need to know 2 things in order to resolve that problem permanently. Meanings, there's no more problem. You're done, you're moving on. We don't even think about that problem any longer. So what are those 2 things? Number one, you need to find out what's causing your problem, right? If you don't know what's causing your problem, how can you fix it? And it seems obvious when I say that, but in place in the context of healing with the pharmaceutical industry, that's not as obvious, right? And so that's number one. And number two, of course, you need to know how to fix it. So if you can find out what's the cause of the problem, you need to know how to fix it. No more problem, right? Makes
Right.
sense? So I thought that here's the thing with chiropractic, I was going to a certain level to help my patient, but still, they still have to come to see me. So I didn't fix their problem. You
Mm.
see what I mean? Do you feel me? And so what happened is like, well, I started to investigate the inflammation in the body, which is the chemical stress, right? And so what happened, so you will come to my office and I will use your arm and I will muscle test, we call that, and figure out, your body will tell me basically which organ are under stress and again, what's causing the stress, right?
Right.
I made a practice out of it, right? I mean, I had 250 patients a week, I had 4 employees. I mean, that was like quite a bit successful. And so, but you know how it is in life. When you think you got it, this is it, man, I got it. Well, what happened to me is like, I was like so focused on helping people because quite frankly, I was living in my mission, right? I thought I was doing the right thing. And so what happened, it's like my mind was always on my patient, on my business and all that. So when I was coming back home after working, I was there, but I was not present for my family, including my daughter, right? I hate to say that, but that's the truth. And so what happened, of course, my divorce went down. I ended up divorcing. My marriage went down the drain. So I got depressed and I was like overworked. And anyway, so my mind was not into what I was doing anymore,
Sure.
right? And so because when you divorce, it's never a handshake when there's a kid. When there's no kid, okay, separate both ways. And nice to meet you. And bye-bye. But when a kid, there's much more problem. And so anyway, so what happened? So within a year, I ended up divorcing. Second thing, because my mind was not into that, what happened, my business went from thriving to failing. And also I got diagnosed with, that's the cherry on the cake right there. I got diagnosed with early stage of colon cancer. So imagine, I will have tell you, Audley, if you want to avoid cancer, you need to do this, 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 this. I was doing my own program and I got sick. So I have to rethink everything about my health, my job, obviously, my relationship, my prosperity. So I really have to redefine everything.
So I'd love to know how did you get your way out of the hole? Because it sounds like you were dug in a pretty deep hole with all these things happening from all sides of your life.
Yeah, it's like I had to do like the phoenix, reborn from the ashes. So I knew few things from my life experiences. First of all, what I told you, I had to find what was causing my problem. What was within me, right? That was pushing me to sabotage my health, to sabotage my relationship, and to sabotage my prosperity. So that's number one. But also my spirit or mentality was, I never been a victim, and I learned that from my dad, because my dad was a very negative person actually, and very controlling. So what happened? He got sick at 40 years old, Audley. Got sick and never went back to work. And the worst things that happened to him, it's like people will call and say, "Oh, Jean, how you doing?" and all that. So he will identify this sickness with the attention he was getting, with the love that he was receiving. You see what I mean? Yeah. And so he became a victim, right? I'm not saying he did that on purpose, and we're going to explore that, what happened actually to, but it's in the subconscious mind. So subconsciously he said, "Oh, if I'm sick, they love me. If I'm not sick, I don't know, right? They love me not." And so, so I knew it was a part of myself that needed to change, and to change deeply. So what I did, I said, okay, well, I have to treat all the part of a human being. So we are physical being, we are chemical being with our internal chemistry, and we are mental being, right, with our emotions and thoughts. And so I started with a physical, and with a physical, I found out that, hey, chiropractic treat only 20% of the nervous system, which are the nerves that exist in your body. Why not treating 100%? So I became a cranial specialist, right? So I was able to release the head, if you want, the skull, and to get better results. And always, I don't know how to explain that, but I always had insight coming out of the blue, and I was doing things to my patient. And anyway, so I created my own energetical technique, right? So I was pretty pleased. Physical, okay, we got it. We got this sent with, what's causing it and how to fix it. The number two things was the chemicals. So I already knew about that, what's causing it, right? So which organ under stress, what's causing the stress in those organs. But to fix it, I was not too pleased. Especially remember I had cancer. I had to
Right.
deal with that stuff, and I was not, dealing with the allopathic medicine. And so I found out that actually oxygen, if you supercharge your body with oxygen, cancer hates oxygen. It's kind of like a vampire looking at the sun directly, right? They don't like it at all. And so I
Right.
started to supercharge my body with oxygen and created a mixture. I was not even on a special diet, but you had the mixture and you see your pH rising up, right? And so I healed myself from that cancer, right? And after, okay, what we're gonna do now for the emotional and mental, the big one, right? Everybody's talking only about mind body connection, right?
Yes.
So we've got the
Yes.
body, okay. Now what we're gonna do for the most important thing, which is the mind. So I started to study some technique, which, emotional technique. So if you have pain in your neck, I will say, that emotion of grief, blah
Yep.
blah blah, created that it's trapped in your neck and causing problem. But so I had some decent result. It helped me, but I knew deep inside there was something much better.
Yes.
I knew deep inside that there was something else. And so I started to study the mind. And all of what I'm going to tell you, Audley, and your
Yep.
audience, you Google it. That's how difficult it was for me to figure it out. But what I figured out is going to redefine the way you think about who you are.
Okay.
Only that. Just only
Okay.
that. It's going to
Okay.
literally redefine. So if you guys are standing up, sit down. If you are sit down, buckle up. Because what I'm going to tell you is just crazy, it's just mind
Okay.
blowing.
Okay.
So, first things, we live in two separate worlds at the same time. So, what do I mean by that? We've got what we call the outer world,
Yeah.
right? So, the outer world and the inner world. So, what is the outer world? Okay. So, the outer world is what we call your conscious mind. It's what you are aware of, it's your self identity, your personality, your thought, your emotion, your behavior, your action, what you think you can do, what you think you cannot do, right?
Right.
That's what it is, right? And after you've got your unconscious mind, we're going to call it the subconscious mind, right?
Okay.
And that
Yep.
subconscious mind is very mysterious. We just kind of, we don't have access to it, right? And so what happened with that subconscious, it will do several things. One of them is it will record everything you have been doing in your life from age 0 to now. Everything is recorded. Every single moment of your life has been recorded there. Number one. Number two, all your skills as a man, as a podcaster, whatever you do and required skills are stored there. All
Okay.
the things in your body that are processing, happening automatically, like your heartbeat, your breathing, all the things you don't have to think, they are stored there. And more than anything, it's like your conscious mind process data at 11 bits per second. Your subconscious mind process data at 11 million bits per second. So
Right.
that's 1 million times more powerful. So
Yes.
that got my attention. I said, damn, that's really powerful, right? And after that's the one that you need to sit down, really. Because if you take the ratio between the conscious mind and the
Yep.
subconscious mind, depend who you're reading only. The conscious mind, it's only 5 to 10% of your mind.
Hmm.
5 to 10% of your mind. And your subconscious mind is therefore 90 to 95% of your mind.
Yeah.
Meanings we are
Yeah.
using only 5 or 10% of our mind or brain power.
Mm-hmm.
Meanings that when you want to heal, transform yourself, or grow, we need only we focus only on the conscious mind. So I thought, you know what? Let's bring the subconscious mind to the party. And that's really
Yes.
what the mind clearing is about. Does
Hmm.
it make sense?
Makes total sense, and I think the part that I'm glad you asked people to sit down and take that in, because you think that's a great disparity between the two percentages of the mind, subconscious and the conscious, and I think when people hear this, in some respects, like we know there's stuff going on in our subconscious, right? I think everyone will understand that basic and even agree to that. But how much is going on is a whole other story. And now, you've broken that down. That's significant.
And here's the thing. how much is going on and really what's going on, and how, I guess, the subconscious mind can impact our conscious mind, right? That is the $1 million question. So here, there's one more thing I'm going to tell you, and people maybe is going to say, hey, no way. We are all programmable. Right now, you've got positive and negative program running in your subconscious mind and dictating what you're doing. Let me show you how it works. So especially around age 0 to 6 to 8 years old, depend who you're reading, right? So we see the outer world and we are innocent and we assume things, right? We assume everything is good, right? So you make assumption, and if you repeat the assumption, it becomes a program. And you've got basically two kind of program. You've got a program that are serving you. It's kind of your mind is working for you instead of against you. And we call that empowering belief.
Okay.
Empowering belief. And you've got some programs that are not serving you any longer. You know, they had a role to play, but they are not serving you any longer. It means your mind is working against you. And we all experience that in our life, right? Say, why I'm doing this again and again and again? That's crazy. That's because of who's programming. And we call that our limiting belief. Our limiting belief. To show you how powerful those are, when they do research, double placebo study, when they do research, there's something, it's called the placebo effect. Okay. So what is the placebo effect? Let's see if I've got heartburn, right? So I say, okay, I want to try your pill, right? So I get a pill. I don't know what it is, but I get a pill and my heartburn get better. And after they tell me, you know what, Dr. Salas, you had a sugar pill. So what does it mean? The placebo effect means that because you believe, your subconscious belief, that empowering belief right there, that program, because for some reason, depends your past experience, you believe that the pill will heal you, it will heal you. And they've got another one that not lots of people, unfortunately, are talking about that, but it's called the nocebo effect. So what does it mean? It means that you're taking the pill and they told you, well, the side effect, you may have headache. So you take the pill, you've got a headache, but they tell you, oh, by the way, it was on your sugar pill. So you believe that taking the pill will give you a headache because maybe in your family, some people got headache when they take medicine, right? And after it has been a program that, oh, you take medicine, you're going to have a headache. Whatever the reason are, it doesn't really matter. What matters if you experience the negative impact of the programming. And imagine all the bad news, you know, all the things we are exposed, all the fear that, you know, we feel, that all that program that is going on with the news, the TV, the social media, you name it, that create program in your body, you better believe it. You better believe it. So let me show you one more example because I think it will be helpful. You want to say something or you want
No, please. I want to hear the example.
So there's an example that's going to really seal the deal here. So let's pretend there's a little girl that sees the dad is an alcoholic, right? And because he had negative programming, right? That's what it is. And so he's an alcoholic and get drunk every night, come back home, beat up his wife. So what do you think the little girl's going to attract when she's in age to have a romantic relationship? What partner, Audley, you think she's going to attract?
Well, she'll do what she saw growing up. Right?
Exactly. So now there's two things that I want to point out. The first things, if you ask that woman now, she's grown up, if you ask her, you say, oh, do you enjoy to get beat up like your mom? She's going to say, heck no. So the conscious mind is going to say no, but the subconscious mind has been programmed as men are predators and women are prey. Now, there's another question come up. How she's going to attract the guy? We all agree she's going to attract it, but how? She's going to say, hey, can you beat me up? It's not going to work that way, obviously, right? So it's kind of our subconscious mind are connected and we're not aware of that. You know, some people say we are all one, right? That's kind of what it means, right? It doesn't mean we have to love each other and to love everybody. No, it means we're connected. So here's what's gonna happen. Our subconscious mind is gonna say, "Hey, look at this guy.
Yeah.
He's got a program. He has been bullied, and he's a bully. So now he's got the predator program. The subconscious mind of the guy is gonna say, "Oh, look, she's the perfect prey. You're gonna be able to bully." And so they're gonna fall in love. The polarity, the opposite is gonna attract. And what's gonna happen? They're gonna, yeah, it takes two to tango, right? So we're gonna start that dance. And there's three different case scenarios that may happen. Number one, she married the guy, gets stuck with him for the rest of her life. And we all know or have heard people lives like that. Case scenario number two, Audley. What may happen is like she go with that guy and she's tired of get beat up, right? Maybe get another guy, maybe have kids along the way, lots of suffering for sure. And there's two reactions that I heard from those women. The first one, the most common one. Hey, Dr. Salas, don't talk to me about men. They're not good for me. I'm done with men. No more relationship. I would rather be by myself. It's kind of, there's a fire and you put your finger, you get burned once, twice, and after you say, oh, I'm not putting my finger there, right? But also we can heal from our life experiences. Yes. So they will know they are healed when she attracts a totally opposite man, totally different, a man that is kind, respectful, loving, that see her as an equal, right? And very nurturing to her. That's how you know that you heal. And case scenario number three, she can come to see a person like me that we can deprogram. It's a program. The good news of a program, it means you can get the program, but you can, when you speak the same language, get the program out, right? Let's compare like the mind to a computer, right? So like that, since we're talking about program, right? So our mind, so the brain is the hard drive. Yes. The brain is an interface, that's it. The brain is the hard drive. The software of your program is your subconscious mind. The output of the software is your conscious mind. And your behavior, you can see that on the screen of life. So if I've got lots of empowering belief, I've got a good software that is really working for me, right? My mind is working for me. You ask me, hey, Dr. Salas, how are you doing? Well, never better. My life is great. I enjoy my life. I've got this and that. I had some up and down, but man, I love it. If you've got a programming that is very negative, full of limiting belief, you say, oh, how's your life? Damn, I feel stuck. I cannot go anywhere. All while I'm trying, I cannot finish. I'm always suffering. Life is hard and blah, 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 right? And so that's how the limiting belief, actually, I want to make one more statement. It's come from our past. Yes. Because the trauma we experienced, like that little girl, is the past. All the challenges that are unresolved is from our past. So you think you're making that decision and this, you're not in control. That's right. Who we think we are in control, we are not. Who is in control is our limiting belief. They are the one in control. So our limiting belief control your present, so dictate your present and mold your future. You see how, can you imagine how huge all those programs running behind the scene all the time, every single day? Yeah. That's crazy.
So the piece, and I think the $1 million question would be then, how do we access that subconscious to be able to work through those limiting beliefs, or because there's also some empowering beliefs there as well, right? And so how do we access all of that?
Audley, that's the $1 billion question. I agree with you. Lots of money, bingo, when you've got that. So it's like everything in life. I used to travel a lot. Yeah. And when I was traveling, the most frustration I had, it's like when I was like with you, I think you're a nice guy, you're very outgoing, and we didn't speak the same language. Okay. You see what I mean? Very frustrating. Because, you can use sign language, you can use visual, but what kind of conversation? Imagine we're on a podcast, there's no more audio. Right, I'm going to have to communicate with you, That's not good, right? So we need
Mm,
to speak the same language.
yeah.
On my field, they don't speak the same language
Right.
because if you want to, first of all, they told you need to identify your limiting belief. That's fine. So you mean I'm going to use only 5 or 10% of my mind to crack the code of 90% of my mind power? I mean, the odds are not really in my favor here, right?
True. True. Yeah.
So that's number one. And number two, they say, oh, you need to journal, you need to feel that, and things like that. Let's cut to the chase. What do you like when you dream and you remember a dream? What do you remember? Always a picture with it, right? I
Mm,
never heard anybody say, "Oh, you know what, Dr. Sass, I remember the smell of my dream. That's it." No, there's always a picture or a movie with that. So that's how
yeah.
your subconscious mind communicate. That's
Yeah.
why it can store so many things in a picture, more with the symbolism, with the archetype, with all the things that are we cannot even explain by word. You see what I mean? It's stored in that
Yeah.
picture. So what we do, we say, oh, that's how we communicate. So let's say you got neck pain. Because I want to extend what you think about limiting belief. If you go to the Google and you put limiting belief, they say, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not, and that's it. But do you think your mind can create pain in your body?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that your mind can create symptoms in your body? You bet you actually
Yeah.
that every day. Do you think that your mind can create inflammation in your body? Oh yeah. Do you think that your mind can prevent you to reach your goal and be successful? Yes. It's actually the main culprit for that.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
limiting belief are not only, let's call that negative program, right?
Got you.
They are not all, you see what I mean? So much more extent because on my field, I don't know anybody that say, oh, you're going to treat the limiting belief and your pain's going to go away in average for 80% of the people in 2 visits. That's it. Even if it has
Mm,
been there for 10 years.
wow.
So again, remember the computer? Yes, because we're using 90% more power, our
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
manpower.
Yep. No, it makes sense. As you
You
say
see what
that,
I
it
mean?
totally makes sense, right? Because it's
Yeah, I know it
the
sounds
power.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it sounds crazy when I'm saying that. It's almost miraculous, but it has to be because you're using only 5 or 10%. Now suddenly you use 100% of your manpower. So
Right.
so basically, let's see if you've got neck pain, right? I will tell you. You know what? I want you to visualize you seeing yourself having neck pain big time,
Okay.
right? Whatever the first picture comes. So that's gonna be the picture that represents your limiting belief, right? That's basically what you don't want, to keep it super simple, right?
Yeah.
And after we're going to delete that, it's a program I created, right? You are the one who's going to send the program to yourself in that picture, basically.
Hmm.
And what we'll say, we customize it. That's why I'm a guide to help you, right? But you are using, that's your picture, that's not mine. You're using your own healing innate ability to heal yourself, remember?
Mm.
That's why I started chiropractic thing.
The
And
power
so
is within. The power is within.
that's it. We don't need to we just need to have access to it. That's it. Talking the same language, we grant you the access to it. And so we delete. So it's like when you've got a program, you don't want it. It's not serving you anymore. You're going to delete. And after step number 2, well, you're going to download a new program. So I will ask you visualize totally the opposite of that picture. You have to love that picture, right? And so that's going to be the empowering belief. Maybe for you will be to be in a tropical island on a hammock with a cocktail and your neck being free. For some other people, will be climbing a mountain. Some people will be yoga, because it's like all symbolism. It just depends what they love in life too. That's their picture. I cannot tell you what picture you can visualize because
Sure.
that's not my subconscious mind. Does it make sense? So we're going to download a customized program, and that's where I help. And after, we want to make sure that, remember the screen of life, we want to make sure that you're going to create that in your life. It's going to happen. It's not a fantasy in your head. We want to make sure that you're going to create that, and there's another program. So those are the 3 steps. Number 1, delete limiting belief, download empowering one. So you don't need to know what are there. You don't care.
Mm.
What we
Right.
want is the end result. You want to send the end result, right?
Yeah.
Analysis and things like that. It's only 5 to 10% of your mind anyway. So number 2, you download, and number 3, you want to make sure you create that into your life. Does it make sense?
Yeah, and then it's like you continue that process, right? You continue it to sustain, right? Because that's really like it's one thing to deal with it right now, but if you're not sustaining it, then you've not really fixed the problem, right?
Well, when a program is when you've got a computer, you got a program that are not serving you, and you delete that program, the program is gone.
Okay,
It's gone.
okay.
It's gone. So what may happen? That's a very good question or a remark. What may happen? Let's see. At the end of session, you say, "Damn, I cannot believe my neck is free now. You don't even touch me." Yes, sir. You heal yourself. Okay. So what happened after you get into your car or you use your computer? Say, "Oh man, it hurts again." So those are called resistance for healing. So it means that you had some triggers, right? Different triggers,
Okay.
and so, no problem. You come back, we visualize you in the computer having pen, blah, blah, blah. We do other things, and it takes even less time, and you're done with it.
And I love the manner in which you simplified it. You made it very, very simple, which I think is important, and so people can understand what we're talking about here. Um, the way I see it, at least from in my understanding,
Sure.
when we have problems in life or reoccurring issues, again, it's connected to the subconscious, but we don't always necessarily know like that subconscious there. So I use the example of the woman who selects a certain type of partner, right? And that partner is not good for her. She's not necessarily making that connection. So the work, I wonder the work involved to make that connection. Because once you know, right? You're on, as you said earlier, once you know you're on that path, but it's
You
getting to
don't you
knowing where I
don't
think is challenging for people.
you don't have to make that connection. It's like, for example, people will ask me, okay, I want to really transform my life. Okay, what I will say, make a list. All the things you don't like in your life. So negative thought you don't like in your life. Negative emotion that you don't want in your life. Negative behavior you don't want in your life. Any trauma that you experience, right? In the past, don't assume you forgive. You didn't. More than likely, you didn't. Trust me, I've been doing that 28 years. You didn't forgive, right? So we need to erase that program. We need to erase the negative problem. And
Mhm.
your mind, because here's the problem, we are too much in our head. We have been conditioned to think, like you said, personal development is what? Is a headache. I'm telling you, that's what it is, because we are focused on our head. We're not designed for that. We're much more than that.
Right, right.
Because we designed to resolve problem. Is problem a positive thing? Last time I checked, it's not. That's why that if you look at the stat, you go to Google again. 80% of thoughts are negative for the average person.
Mm,
95% we're gonna think the same pattern that we think the day before. So we are on loops. We're like hamsters, in that spinning wheel.
yeah,
Really? That's what we are.
yeah,
And negative on top of that. That's why remember the placebo and the nocebo. The nocebo effect is so much
yeah,
present there. So we are too much in our head because
yes,
oh, we've got a problem. We resolve the problem. Guess what? Another problem comes up, and another problem, and another problem. So when you start to get rid of limiting beliefs, you've got more peace of mind. So it means like all the energy of your body, instead of going to your head, now it can go somewhere else. It can go to your heart, especially if you got a trauma and you heal that trauma. Now your
mm,
heart start to open,
mm,
right? And
yes, yes,
after, if your heart open, now you can make better decision and take better action, right? So I call that open will,
yes,
open heart,
yes.
and I'm sorry, open head, open mind, open mind. I apologize. Open mind, open heart, and open will.
Mm,
When you've got a problem, if you are closed-minded, either there's
yes,
no solution or there's only one solution. If you are open-minded, because you've got more peace of mind, therefore you've got more clarity and focus. So what happened? You open your mind, and for that problem, you've got maybe 7, 10 possibilities.
gotcha, gotcha. What's really
And now
interesting,
your heart is open.
right, right. What's really interesting is as you talk about the benefits of being open-minded, I can't help but think of just sort of the health issues or some of the health issues or mental health challenges people exist, or maybe even like chronic like physical ailments, or even things like stress as an example. How much of this can be healed by starting with the subconscious?
a lot,
Mm.
everything. I know
Wow.
it sounds crazy what I'm saying, but I can prove it. I mean, so now you are more open-minded, right? And after you got open heart and your will, it's in your gut, right? And so I'm going to show you with American expression, right?
Yeah.
Remember, I'm from France. So you've got more peace of mind. You can follow your heart. And after you can, because you follow your heart, you can make the right decision. And because you made the right decision, you follow your heart, you can behave accordingly and take the action that is necessary. You see our problem. Let's see if I said, oh, you know what, tomorrow I'm starting a diet. So my thought, I'm starting a diet. And soon after, I'm going to remember, oh man, last time I started a diet, I lost weight, but I gaining back and more. So my
Mm.
emotions not going to be aligned with my thought. You see, the secret
Gotcha.
is to have everything aligned. Let's imagine a triangle, right?
Yep.
And I've got inside the triangle, I've got limiting belief, right? So on top of a triangle, I'm going to have negative thought. Those are negative programming, right? So I'm going to have
Mhm.
negative thought. On the right base of a triangle, I'm going to have overwhelming emotion that match the thought. And
Mhm.
after on the left side, I'm going to have non-desirable behavior and unproductive action. Let's pretend my dad told me you're a loser, right? So my limiting belief, I'm a loser. I'm going to think I'm a loser. I'm going to feel like a loser. I'm going to behave like a loser.
Right.
So I'm going to have loser result. Because I'm going to have loser result, I'm going to feel even more. I feel really like a loser now, even more than usual. I'm going to think, man, I knew I was a loser, but that of a loser. And so that's
Mm.
going to reinforce. And that's this loop that I'm talking about. I call that the subconscious stress loop. And they are running behind the scene all the time, and again, dictating your present and shaping your future.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can totally see that. And as you describe it, that loop that we go on because we do go on this loop, right? And it's like you sometimes will encounter the same problems or the same issues over and over again, and not recognizing our subconscious is doing the work to bring that back to us until we deal with and address that, which is really really powerful stuff. It really is, man.
This is it, man. This is it. That when you understand, it's so powerful because number one, so you understand that it's not your fault.
No,
You have been programmed, man.
yeah,
It doesn't mean
yeah.
that I don't want to do anything about it, right? Like you know the information. If you don't do anything about it, man, that's on you, right? You've got the knowledge, you don't apply it. That's it.
Yeah.
But at least you understand it's not your fault, right? So there's hope for you that anything that you have been trying before in the past didn't work. That's why it didn't work. I'm just
Yes.
explaining you
Yeah.
why it didn't work, right? On
Yeah.
top of
Yeah.
that, we have been told we're only 5 or 10% of our mind. We have been told we are our self-identity only. So let's zoom out. Let's zoom out and just I want you guys to imagine there's a sun. And the sun creates a spark, and that's your spirit.
Mm.
And after you've got the sky, and after you've got you and me physically, right, as a physical being,
Yep.
right? So some people, the sky is so cloudy, they say, I never seen the sun. It doesn't exist. I've been told there's a sun, I never felt it. I don't know. And so what are the clouds? They are limiting belief. So what happened? You start to get rid of some limiting belief. Now you can start to feel the warmth of the sun. You can have a
Yes. Yeah.
glimpse on
Mm.
those light. You see what I
Wow.
mean? And after you get more and more and more, and you get more connected to your spirit. And after you finally realize what you have been told, you're not 5 or 10% of your mind. You're a spirit living a physical experience.
Wow. Wow.
That's
Wow.
how powerful this is.
That's a beautiful analogy. That is such a beautiful
Thank you.
analogy, and I think it really paints a picture of what we have at our disposal. So when you think of this podcast as an example of we encourage individuals to live a best audacious life, which is your path, the things that you were intended to do, and we want people to be bold and courageous to take that step forward. Again, if those clouds are blocking us, we're not able to because we can't see, right? And so I think that's a wonderful wonderful illustration. I think, I mean, there people undoubtedly be surprised or shocked or, or sort of the ground. I would call it category groundbreaking insights that you've left them. And so, for listeners that maybe wanted to connect with you directly or learn about sort of mind clearing techniques or programs that you have, where can we send them?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to say that you can learn it yourself. Like
Oh,
the way you mentioned, it's very simple. It's designed that way. I can use big word instead of alignment. I can use coherence, and who cares? I want people to understand what I have to tell them because
yeah,
this is for everybody.
yeah.
When I get those insight, I knew it will be for everybody if they want to. So you can help yourself, but also you can help your family in so
Mhm.
many things. Now, if you want to make a business out of it, or if you are a coach or a health professional that really want to go deep and just make a big difference with their patient, and usually they make a big difference with themselves also, that's what they want, right? You can have amazing result that you cannot even dream of right now. Because
Mhm.
we think, you know, I treat myself obviously, right? And I don't have a grasp how powerful we truly are.
Yeah,
I wanted to have a hat and say, yes, you are so powerful.
yeah.
We have no idea how powerful we are.
Yep, yep.
We just
Powers within.
disconnected. We
Yep.
just disconnected. When you understand, that's how you awaken. You awaken to your own power. You say, gosh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You mean I can get in touch with the divine? I can get in touch with God? Yes, of course.
Yes,
God
that's
say
it.
what we're the children of God, right? So for a reason, of course you can. This is our birthright, I believe.
Yes, yes,
You
yes,
know,
yes,
and
yes.
so you can learn it yourself. And if you're a coach or health professional, you can learn it for yourself, obviously. But also you can help your patient so much more, like I do. Right? This is so
Amazing.
gratifying. There's no way I can burn out anymore. There's no way because when
Love it.
people thank you, like it's coming from their heart, right? And so
Love it.
anyway, so what you can do, you do that. You go there because it's like when you've got the knowledge, right? It's good to have knowledge, right? I'm a seeker of knowledge,
Yeah.
truth, and freedom. Those
Yes.
are my three things, right? And they all connect to each other. But if you got knowledge and you don't apply it, who cares,
Then what's the
right?
sense?
What's
Yeah.
the point? You see what I mean? And so try this for you, whatever you want. If you've got pain, if you've got symptoms, if you've got some thoughts that are bothering you, if you are
Yeah.
anxious, if you are,
Yeah.
and you can look at the testimonial. I've got more coming up, right? And so you see that it's crazy in a way. I mean, I treated one person for hoarding in one visit. Hoarding is
Yeah.
hard to treat, one visit. And you can read
Wow.
the testimonial there. So people for businesses also and things like that. So finally, we've got a technology that is simple enough that can be accessible to everybody, right?
Nice.
And
Yeah.
so try it for yourself. Get a treatment with me personally, right? It takes an hour. If they come from your podcast, they get 20% discount on the treatment. And
Yeah.
if they want to get the entire package, which is mind clearing basic, and also um, the goal and success clearing and body clearing, they can get that. They get 50% discount on all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. And where
it's
can
a
they go for
message of
that?
hope.
Where could they go
What's
for
that?
that? Where could they go for that to access that?
So
Their website.
themanclearing.com, contact. There's a form, there's my email, and that's it.
Okay. Okay. We'll make
Very
sure that
easy.
that's connected.
Yeah, and they mention your the name of your podcast, and they get the discount. No problem. No
That's
question
amazing.
asked, of
That's
course.
amazing. Doctor, listen, I think the work you're doing is very, very, very important, and also
Thank you.
helpful to people because part of what you do, what I'm clearly hearing, is you're helping empower people to do this work themselves, and that's part of it. It doesn't just start every time they visit you and it's over. It's they can within themselves. So and really what it speaks to and the power of being within, and I absolutely love that. It's amazing. It's so amazing. Congratulations on all the great work.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And what I want to say is like when you empower, like you say, people to heal, to me, it's the holy grail of healing. There's
Mhm.
nothing better than that. Because you empowering people to reach their full potential, but not in only like people say, their full ability as a spiritual being. This is priceless, man.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for being a guest here today on the Audacious Living Podcast.
Thank you so much. I had a great time. Thank you for allowing me to connect with you and your audience. I really appreciate it, sir.
Back, we are here on the podcast. During our conversation with Dr. Salas, he shared some profound insights about how our beliefs, both empowering and limiting, shape our actions and ultimately define our outcomes. He offered practical techniques for individuals to reprogram their minds, such as mindfulness practices and cognitive restructuring, which can lead to significant improvements in mental and physical health. What I personally loved about his interview was Dr. Salas' ability to simplify complex concepts, making them accessible and actionable for listeners. His passion for helping others thrive is truly inspirational and serves as a reminder that we all possess the power to change our narratives. I'd encourage you to connect with Dr. Salas directly and to learn more about his work and the tools that he offers. You'll find his contact details in the show notes below, along with links to his website and social media platforms. Additionally, he's offering a special product for our listeners, a complimentary ebook titled Reprogram Your Mind for Success, which includes practical strategies for mental reprogramming and personal empowerment. Be sure to check out the show notes again for all those details on how to access this valuable resource. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Audacious Living Podcast. If you found value in our discussion today, please take a moment to like, follow, subscribe, or share if you haven't already done so, because that's how we grow and reach even more listeners like you. Together, let's inspire one another to live audaciously, embrace every opportunity for growth and transformation. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, show love to one another, and be audacious.
You've been listening to the Audacious Living Podcast, hosted by Audley Stephenson. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, be audacious.